now on our next keynote, which is going to be on how data virtualization accelerates machine learning and AI projects. While in AI, ML systems, applications or machines are set up to learn from new information and gradually take over time, they acquire the intelligence to support day-to-day business processes and decision-making. The more data they receive, the more they learn, and the more accurate their predictions are. However, extracting data from multiple sources and then replicating it to a central repository is an old and inefficient way. This approach results in 80% of the project time being spent on data acquisition and preparation tasks. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for our topic, we're going to be having Alex Oel, the Senior Director, Partner, Channel Sales and Business Development, Denodo APAC. Well, Alex has over 20 years of experience in IT and building teams to drive fast-growing businesses. Also, Alex has deep expertise in working with customers and partners for joint benefits. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with this, we present to you Alex on your stage and screen. Thank you so much, Alex, for your valuable time. Over to you.
Okay, hello everybody, and thank you for having me here today. So I'm looking forward to share with you a little bit about how data virtualization really can help you to accelerate machine learning, how I would say a very modern approach of data integration can help you in AI projects. And actually I had a chance to listen in a little bit into the panel discussion earlier. So all the topics about data privacy, about data security, data access, which were addressed there is actually something we can do as well. So we're not only a tool that is actually relevant for the machine learning part. So, but let me maybe start getting into my presentation and share my screen with you and explain to you a little bit of how data virtualization can work closely together with machine learning AI projects and really promote speed, agility in and making AI projects successful. So I hope you can see my screen by now. So I have a quick agenda. We have only 15 minutes, so let's hurry through that. Let me explain to you very quickly about some of the typical data challenges that we see with our customers, how data virtualization can help with that. And then in addition to share some customer success stories as well. Okay. Let me move on. So okay, great. So first of all, statement here that you might have heard maybe in other from other speakers as well. 87% of data science projects never make it into production. I mean, there's a whole, I mean, it's obviously very disappointing in the first place, but there's also a whole lot of reasons why this happens. This can be because of wrong expectations, not clear project definitions, but it can also be related to data. Like, for example, data access being complicated, slowing the process down, the project takes too long, and then the company already moves on. So in my session today, I will focus very much on the data piece. And so when we look at how data is being used in a data science project, I have here this report from IDC, which highlights a few key aspects of using data. So first of all, what you can see here is a lot of different data sources, a lot of different data types are being used in a project for data science. The other part is you also expose that data or present that data results in a lot of different ways. So there's quite a bit of complexity, and that actually leads to the fact that typically a data scientist has to use 4 to 7 different tools to really prepare the data, get it ready, find results, and present them afterwards. So you need to have really well-trained people because you do not just need to know the tool a little bit, you need to know it very well. So it's also hard to find these people and it's complicated. So the other part, when you look at projects, is then a data science project is really the data workflow. And when we're looking here at how does a typical data scientist workflow look like, you look at these points from 1 to 7, you see it's about collecting, first of all, understanding what are the business needs, then identifying the necessary data, cleans it, analyze it, prepare it for your algorithm, execute finally the algorithm, and then visualize and share your results. If you look at this in more detail, you will find out that points 2 to 5 are actually all around your data. So data plays a really, really significant role in getting results, getting the significant learnings that you're looking for with the machine learning algorithm. So when we're looking actually at the time that a data scientist spends, you will find out that actually majority of his time, he is not really busy finding a model, playing with the model, refining the model, validating the model, but he spends majority of his time, 70 to 80% really in getting the data ready, preparing the data, getting access, for example, to the data sources, which can also take some time to get access control to a specific data source. You need to leverage different technologies, so you might not be familiar with this technology. Then you have to transform the data. They have to transform data into a standard format. A lot of people actually still use CSV files, which is still a rather manual process, and then profile this data and make it available to your data modeling tools. So now let's have a look how data virtualization can actually help you to facilitate the process, to speed up the process. So as a quick introduction for the people who have not heard of data virtualization, and I'm going to make it really short, data virtualization is really that middle layer that sits between your data sources, which you see at the bottom, and your data consumers that you see at the top. So data virtualization really provides the central layer which can connect to a whole lot, or basically any kind of a data source, bring it together into the virtualization layer where it's virtually combined. So it's not an ETL process that copies data into one place, but we virtually combine the data as it is required and then make it available to the different consumers. In the context of this presentation, this is for machine learning and AI, but basically the data can be exposed to any kind of data consumers. This can be your mobile application, that can be your analytics tool, or this can, for example, be your call center. So now, assuming you have a data virtualization layer in place, how does it make a difference in the process when you work on a machine learning AI project? First of all, during the identification of data, data virtualization really can help you to get access to all kind of data. So instead of doing what a lot of people do, find the data source, extract the data, move it into a CSV file, cleanse it, etc., you can really use the data virtualization layer as a single point of access. The nice thing about data virtualization is that for the consuming application, we just look like a database. So we just look like an SQL database. So your consuming application does not really have to worry about, is this a CSV file? Is this a spreadsheet? Is this maybe a Hadoop? It's just accessible via SQL. So we really abstract that technology, but we also make it possible for you to access all kind of different data sources very easily. In addition to that, we have a data catalog, meaning when you search your data, you don't have to go through your databases or go through your spreadsheets and identify the metadata. Our data catalog makes that immediately available, facilitating you to find the right data information right from the beginning. So now let's look a little bit more into the actual preparation of the data. And again, here, data virtualization from Denodo helps you to use basically one standard language, which is SQL. So instead of, again, having to know 6, 7 different languages, use different tools to transform, change any kind of data, you can actually do a lot of that transformation straight with SQL, which I think is a very standard knowledge that a lot of people have out there. So making it very easy, accelerating the process, not having to train, for example, people to get familiar with new tools, with new technologies. The other important part is actually reusability. If you are building data models, if you are building joins in Denodo, you can reuse them all the time again. So instead of, again, what a lot of people do, extract data, put it into a CSV file, feed it into their machine learning algorithm, And then 2 weeks later, well, you need some fresh data. Data has changed and you have to run the whole process again. With data virtualization, we can always access the actual information that is available without any impact on the sources and extract that data as it is needed for your algorithm. So making it, again, much easier, lowering the effort. So coming back to the picture I showed you before, so what does that really mean for you when you work in data science? So what you see at the bottom, you have your bunch of different data sources. You have Denodo as this layer in the middle, connecting easily with predefined connectors to all these different data sources. And then we have, for example, SQL as the standard language to access and modify this data. We have a centralized data model that can be reused for your AI and machine learning, but also for any other tools. And then you have the data catalog to identify the right data as well. So making things much, much easier, much, much faster. So let me share with you one example from a customer. Company is called Prologis, is one of the leading companies for real estate management in the world. Like, for example, they have physical warehouses like AWS, or not AWS, Amazon uses, for example, a lot of their services to manage their warehouses. And they were looking for a data science workflow to help them in optimizing, for example, their warehouse operations, their contracts, optimizing, for example, how fast different boxes can be accessed in a warehouse, how the drive-in, drive-out of goods can be managed, etc. So instead of using the traditional approach, they used Denodo, and you see it here in the middle. They were connecting to a whole bunch of different data sources, Salesforce, Oracle, spreadsheets, but also, for example, Snowflake. And then you build virtual views of the data. So all these views will be related or were related to specific topics like lease information, unit information, building information, occupancy information, etc. And then those views were actually made available to your notebooks. So instead of creating a fixed notebook, they created these starter packs. And these starter packs contained then these data views, which were specific, for example, for leasing or for valuations for occupancy, and basically provided already 80% of the initial information that is required to build your notebook, accelerating the process of creating new notebooks drastically. So, and the result was that we saw, for example, 30% faster speed in building new AI projects. They really could quick start everything, and they could also bring down even the overall maintenance cost for the AI projects. So let me come to the summary. What we have seen is, I mean, Denodo can really help you accelerate your AI projects. The 80% of time that you would usually use to find the right data, if you can reduce that by 30, 40, 50%, you have significant time savings, and your data scientists can use their time to look into the models, validate the model, refine the model. We have the capability to integrate into notebooks. We have actually a Xamarin notebook even built into the solution. We have this SQL on anything engine, which really means you can connect to any kind of data sources, which means not only spreadsheets or databases, SQL databases, but also non-SQL databases, your big data technologies like Spark, like Hadoop. And then we can also help you with a collaboration across the community for all your different data requirements. So with that, coming to the end, and if you require more information about Denodo, so you can on one side go to our website, www.denodo.com. There you find, for example, a whole number of test drives, which gives you the chance to play around with the tools. It's 14 days free of charge. So really different scenarios for you to have a guided process to get involved in Denodo. Or you can also go to our virtual booth that we have here at the event and reach out to the colleagues, and they will be able to answer any kind of questions you might have. So with that, coming to the end, and thank you all for your interest, and looking forward to hear back from you.
Thank you so much, Alex, for that wonderful presentation and being a part of the World AI Show Jakarta. Definitely, I'd urge all our attendees to visit the virtual booth as well to take forward the discussions and to understand Enodo way better. Thank you once again, Alex, for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.